UFC 326 taking place March the 8th, Sunday, 4 a.m. Standard Time, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, United States. Now this is a pay-per-view 1st of March. It's the first one of March. I think it's the only one of March. And we have the BMF bout in contention with Max Holloway fighting against Charles Oliveira. It's a lightweight bout. Let me just go through my predictions. Now, predictions for this specific pay-per-view will be the entire main card. And let's start. Okay, we're starting with the opening fight of the main card, which is Gregory Rodriguez against Bruno Ferreira. Now, Gregory Robocop Rodriguez has 18 nice wins, 6 losses, 10 wins coming by way of knockout, and 3 wins by submission. Also has 8 wins coming by first round finishes to bout. And now, when it comes to Gregory, he does have a nice win last year, November, I do recall, 16th against Kopylov. That was a nice win, unanimous decision. Also won before that against Hermason, but he did lose against Jared the Cannonier. Now, to lose against Jared the Cannonier in his old age, what does that say about Gregory? I don't know. I think Gregory has a lot of potential in the UFC. Now, if he was going up against any other fighter besides Bruno Ferreira, I would have given the win to Gregory just because of his experience, his solid performances. But he's facing off against the Hulk, Bruno Ferreira. Now, Bruno Ferreira is also on a nice fight winning streak. I think he's on a 3-fight winning streak. Yes. His latest win was against Marvin Vettori, which was last year, December the 7th. And before that, he won McVie, Petrosian. He did lose against Magomedov in October 2024. Now, Bruno Ferreira has landed quite a few takedowns of 21, but he's attempted 21 takedowns, but he's never landed any. His striking accuracy is quite good, with 224 strikes thrown and only 51% of them land. So he does land fairly decent. Now, Gregory's main strengths play in his wrestling. And I think that's how he's going to defeat Gregory Rodriguez, is just through ground control. And I think it's going to last a whole 3 rounds. And I predict that Bruno Ferreira will win by unanimous decision, 3 rounds, 30-27. Now let's move on. Okay, so the second fight of the main card, we have Drew Dober against Michael Johnson. Now, Drew Dober has 16 wins by knockout, 10 first-round finishes, 5 wins by submission. He has a very gleaming record of 28 wins and only 15 losses. It's quite good. Now, Drew Dober has recent win over Preplok and also against wow, he doesn't have a good record at all. Wow. I was looking at his record now, and I'm seeing he's lost against Renato Moicano. To lose against Moicano means you're weak. I mean, Moicano, this guy. No, man, you can't lose against Moicano. You know what? Let's put that aside, and let's just analyze methodically here. And his chances of winning against Michael Johnson are slim, very slim. And we saw Michael Johnson put away Jared the Cannonier in all 3 rounds. I remember that fight in 2024. He put him to sleep, not to sleep, but he put him away. That was a very good fight by Michael Johnson, showcasing his skills. After that, he's gone on to win against Flowers, Azatar, and also Zellhuber. Those are tough fights, and he's got them all done. He did lose against Ferreira, but he did win against the other people. Now, Michael Johnson is going to totally demolish this guy. And that's just based on Michael Johnson's... He has a very good head movement when it comes to the clinch specifically. And I think that's where he's going to shine. He's going to shine when he fires shots off from the clinch from the outside range. And he's just going to wear out Drew Dober and win by decision. I don't think he's going to per se finish him, but I do believe it will be a final unanimous decision in the final round, 30-27, giving the victory to Michael Johnson. Now, third fight on the main card, we have Rob Font against Roy Rosas Jr. Chiwi. Now, when it comes to Rob Font, also has a nice record of 22 wins and 9 losses, 9 wins by knockout, 9 first round finishes, 4 wins by submission. When it comes to analytics and it comes to your record, it means nothing because it's all that matters is your opponent. Because you could have a very glamorous record, but you're going up against a lion, and then your record means nothing. It's how you present yourself on the day and how your strategy plays into action, going up against someone that you have trained to combating all his strengths. When it comes to Rob Font, he has a very good fight IQ. It's very high. So he knows how to adjust on the fly, on the position, take advantage of the moves, and adjust as he needs. Now, he's coming off a loss against Martinez, but before that, he did win against Matsumoto. Also, he has a nice win against Phillips, but he lost against Figueiredo, Davidson Figueiredo in 2023. Now, that was when Figueiredo was he still wasn't in his prime, nowhere close. He's way out of his prime. He's still now out of his prime. I don't know how he didn't retire, never mind. But he should have retired when he fought Umar. Shame. But to lose against Davidson and before that to lose against Corey Sandhagen shows that Rob Font is not really a premium show class fighter who gets highlights. Also, not one to stand amongst the gatekeepers and run the division. He's climbing up the ladder, trying his best, but when he wins against the guys that don't really have championship material. But when he goes into the ring with people who are really, really good brawlers specifically and wrestlers, he sort of lets his armor slip. Evident by his loss against Corey and his loss against Davidson Figueiredo. Now, him battling Rosas Jr. Chiwi, I'll have to give the win to Rosas Jr. Now, this guy is on a very good momentum. Since he joined the UFC, he's gained a lot of public intrigue, a lot of public favor with the populace. This guy has gone on to win and win and win and win, except his second fight in the UFC. He did lose, I remember, against Rodriguez by unanimous decision. But since then, since he made his debut in the UFC with his submission in round 1 against Perrin, he's gone on to win. Now, his most recent fight was against Morales. Before that, it was Mitchell and all the other people. But I believe Rosas is going to win. And my reasons for that is due to the fact that Rosas is stronger, younger, jumps higher, and is just going to win by being more active. Because when it comes to Rob Font, if you throw enough punches and you keep them consistent, you keep them coming, and you keep the power level ranging from hard to extremely hard, then you can wear him down, break his guard, and just get a nice finish. And I think that's what's going to happen with Rosas Jr. Chiwi. He's going to win against Rob Font in the early second round by finish, knockout, TKO, what have you. But it will be a finish awarded to Rosas Jr. Chiwi. Now, going on to the co-main of the UFC 326, we have Caio Borralho, the natural, against Reinier de Ridder, RDR. Now, Caio Borralho is coming off who doesn't know his name at this point? Very good fighter. He does have a loss against Imavov, which he fought in September the 6th, 2025. Before that, he did win against Jared the Cannoneer. Now, winning against Jared anytime beyond 2020, not 2020, beyond 2022 or 2023 means nothing. I mean, he's out of his prime. And getting a win over Jared just really doesn't mean anything. If you lose to Jared, it means something. It means you're not fit to be in the UFC. My humble opinion, though. But I will say that Caio Borralho has a very good record and track record in the UFC. This guy's a very good wrestler. Very good wrestler. Now, will his wrestling be enough to fight against Reinier de Ridder's clinch fighting? Because Reinier de Ridder loves doing all his fighting in the clinch. That's how he won against Robert Whittaker. But I will say that I truly believe that Robert Whittaker was robbed in that fight. Reinier threw so many. He didn't throw. He committed so many illegal moves. glove grabbing, pants pulling, everything you can think of, and the referee just turns a blind eye. So I think he's still going to do the same against Caio Borralho. Let's hope the ref is awake. Now, when it comes to Reinier Ritter, as I said, loves the fight in the clinch. Nice win against Bo Nickel, where he just showed that doesn't matter if you're American Iowa State national champion wrestler. Doesn't matter if you have gleaming wrestling skills. You can be put away with some nice solid brawling. Left right combinations, that spinning elbows, that can defeat you before you even get to take your wrestling skills into play. And we saw that in the second round against Bo Nickel, where Bo Nickel sort of ran into deep waters in the second round when his wrestling wasn't working. Reinier Ritter stood him up and then just pieced him apart. Gave him a 1-2, left elbow, boom, and then you could see where Bo Nickel he just couldn't take it, and he just gave up. So that's when we knew that Bo Nickel was fraud check, and he wasn't the unstoppable, undefeated wrestler that we all thought he could be. He was trying to be Hamzat, but he can't be Chimaev and not be from Checha. It just doesn't work. But Renier's most recent fight was against Brendan Allen, and the reason I'm saying that Reinier Ritter will lose against Caio Borralho is specifically because of his fight against Brendan Allen. Now, his fight against Brendan Allen was abysmal. Very, very bad. If you were a Reinier Ritter supporter, it was a very dark day on this planet for you. Because Reinier Ritter gave up. Just gave up. He looked like he had no stamina. He just didn't want to be there. Brendan Allen pieced him apart and just took him apart in round 4. Wasn't even close. It will never be close. Reinier Ritter lost. Now, he did give a statement saying that he overtrained, and that can happen. But I do believe that Brendan Allen was just way better on the day. Reinier Ritter didn't want to be in there, and it really showed in the way he fought. Now, I think Caio Borralho is going to take Reinier into even deeper waters than Brendan took him, because Caio is a very, very strong wrestler. The guy doesn't give up. And when it comes to Brendan has a very high mileage on his cardio radar. That guy keeps on going and going, and he's more of a stand-up fighter. But when it comes to Caio, he's just like a tank. He's just going to take you down. He's going to keep you there. So I think that's what's going to happen with him against Reinier Ritter. And I believe that Caio Borralho is going to win by unanimous decision, 30-27, no finish, just by points alone. Okay. Now we're going on to the main event upon who this card is structured around, and that is Max Blessed Holloway defending his BMF belt against the contesting fighter Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. Now I really hope in my little heart of hearts that Charles wins. Really wanting to see him win. Been following him since long. And I love the fact that Charles has a nice win against Gamrot he got in late last year, October. That really, he needed that win. He needed that win to rebound off that horrible loss against Superior, where he got sent to sleep in that first round, which was what gave Ilia Topuria the number 1 pound-for-pound status. Because if we have to remember the fact that Islam Makhachev moved up and vacated his lightweight belt to move up to middleweight, same time that Ilia Topuria vacated the featherweight division to move up to lightweight. They just missed each other. And we had, but before Ilia moved up, Islam vacated. So we had to have the 2 contenders fighting for the vacant belt. And we had Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria. Now it was a toss up between Justin Gaethje and Charles, or Max and Charles, but they ran with Ilia because the timing was perfect. He just vacated, moves up as Makhachev vacates. And Ilia, remember, was coming off very good knockout wins against Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. 2 great knockout wins from the best of the division. And then he goes in round 1 and knocks out Charles the way he's never been knocked out before. We've never seen Charles crack like that. Shame. shame. But Ilia Topuria deserves number one status for knocking out three of the legends, the veterans, best of the best, one after another in a row. And then, of course, Makhachev does what we all knew he would do and wins against Jack Della Maddalena to just claim the middleweight belt. It was, welterweight belt. It was handed to him on a spoon, we're all being honest. And that propelled Islam Makhachev to now be the number one pound for pound in the world. But that will soon change when Alex Pereira Shama challenges or contests the heavyweight belt, because we have seen him move up and to vacate his light heavyweight belt recently. And that will be contested with Yuri Prowaska against Amberg for the vacant light heavyweight belt. Now, regarding this event, we go back to business. Charles Oliveira against Max Blessed Holloway. Now, I've ran down what I need to run down over Charles. I hope he wins. He has nice wins over Chandler, against Gamrot, against Dariush. He has not so good losses against Islam Makhachev, Amon Sarukian, Ilia Topuria, but his strength lies in his submission skills. There's no one on this earth that is more prolific in submission victories than Charles Oliveira on this earth. I doubt there will ever be someone who's as great in his submission skills and as advanced in his technique as Charles. Is one of a kind person, one of a kind fighter, true veteran of the sport, Hall of Fame. Now, when it comes to Max Blessed Holloway, this guy, same degree of pedigree when it comes to his greatness. Also a veteran, also a Hall of Famer. Guy's been fighting in the division, I think, longer than Charles. Before Dustin, Dustin's already retired. Now, I think Dustin was his first ever fight. Now, Max Blessed Holloway, he is a very good claimer of highlights. I think they should call him the highlight opposed to Justin Gaethje, because Max Holloway just gets the highlights like he's collecting money. He's famous for his 10-second rule. He just points to the ground, remaining 10 seconds around final round, and then you just log it out. I think that's what's going to happen against Charles. And me, by saying that, indicates, or rather implies, that Charles is not going to submit him. I believe that Max Holloway is going to stand up Charles. He's going to get taken down. That will happen. That will happen. Max will get taken down by Charles. And Charles may keep him there in maybe the first round, maybe half of the second. But Max is not going to go down with a fight. He's going to contest that ground battle. And before Charles takes him down, Charles has to first survive on the feet. And we know Charles is not the best stand-up fighter. He's not the best. He's the best ground fighter in the world. No one comes close. No one comes close. Maybe Hamza, but no one comes close. At his weight division, that is. So the opportunities for Max to win far exceeds the opportunities that Charles can win. And for that reason, I'm going to state that Max will win. Third round by decision. I don't think Max is going to knock out Charles. I think Charles has gotten his chin a bit more prepared for Max. Not like Ilya. We found out no one's chin is safe against Ilya. Guy's power. And I don't think anyone of his weight has that same power either. Except maybe Max. Max also has very good power. Indicated by his winning against Justin Gaethje in the final round on the buzzer beater. Wow, that was a great victory. But regardless of that fact, I'm going to say that Max will win third round by unanimous decision. Charles will take him down round one, probably keep him there for the most of round one, probably give the round to Charles. So we're coming into the second round, maybe 10-9 in favor of Charles. Second round, I have Max winning, maybe just inching it out slightly. I think Charles is going to take him down, but Max will defend the takedown, and then they'll both stand and fight on their feet, and Max will deliver more damage, deliver more significant punches, and he will win unanimously round two. So we're going to come into the third round with a score of 19-19. And I think in the third round, Max is just going to totally demolish Charles. And Charles will not be able to land a takedown. And I see round three winning easily with Max getting the total of 30-20. No, not sorry, not 30. 29-28. 29-28 is the score I think it will be. So round 3, Max can either win by finish or by unanimous decision. It's a 50-50% chance for this. I'm going to say it's unanimous decision. 29-28 Max Holloway. Although I really want Charles to win. I don't want Max to win, but very rarely the fighter you wants to win really does win when it comes to just logic. And that logic dictates that Max will win. Anyway, these are my predictions for UFC 326. The next UFC event is UFC Fight Night, where we have Josh Emmett against Kevin Vallejos. Sunday, 15th of March, 2 o'clock in the morning.